Wait just a second. Hey, video number 5 in exposing Surry County corrupt Republican Party leadership. And this is not the elected officials. These are the people that have been selected to represent our party. They're racist. Mark Jones, Kevin Chenault, Gail Norman. They've manipulated the system to maintain power and tried to use those positions to bully people into their will. While I'm here, though, I asked Louise Kaufman, lean down here, Louise. Hey, this is Louise Kaufman, and this is the lady I was protecting when I got shot. And for those who've been making false accusations, they have no idea about that situation. I have remained silent on that as well, but I take her to the cancer center every morning. She's a real good friend of mine, and I asked her to come because at some point in time we may dispel those bad-mouthing and all they've been doing against me about that, trying to silence me. Thanks, Louise. I'll talk to you in a minute, okay? I didn't get nothing on your paper.
No, I was just...
All right. I'm going to reshare some information about the two-facedness of this group. Because the reason I'm going to do that, because something on my nose. Been out putting out deer corn, so I don't know. Might have stuff all over me. I'm going to repost the two-facedness of it and some of that about this group of 3 at the top of the party, because what's happened, and it's kind of funny, we haven't let the head know what the tail's doing, and it's kind of funny to hear what's going on. They're calling, and it's funny to get responses from, hey, I just got a call from them, because they don't know who's working with us and who's not. We want everybody to come along to help straighten this mess out in Surry County. This group has done nothing but try to divide individuals, and I'm going to show you some of the two-facedness that they've used in text and stuff, and my communication with some of them, Mark Jones specifically, and his conversations with Kevin Chenault about Velvet and Bill Cowan, 2 amazing people that I love dearly. I sat and got to know them well on their front porch over in Caps Mill. Great folks. Bill Cowan's an amazing individual. This group, as soon as Bill left town, started bad-mouthing him, and I had to defend them behind the scenes. Of course, I didn't want to stir up any trouble, so I didn't let it be known then, because, again, basically it was working towards a common good, ultimately the best interest in getting people in office that were help me work and help those work in the best interest of the children in this county to make it as strong as it could be. I'm going to reshare Keith Center post where they called Keith Center a loser because they've used stuff to try to divide me and Keith Center. Again, we used to be friends. He was an instructor at Surry Community College when I went back to college there. Got to be friends, acquaintances, if you will, not like we went out to eat or anything like that, but we communicated every time we saw each other and shook hands most of the time. And this group has divided us. Scott Elvis, I don't have to tell you, and anybody that knows he's not one of my favorite people, but they did him the same way, and unknowing to him, made him think they were supporting him for Register of Deeds. At the same time, after talking to me, Mark Jones and Gail Norman contacted Todd Harris, who I would support to my grave in the position, by the way. A great man, and we've got the right man in that position. But I want to point the two-facedness of it is they were making Scott Elvis think they were supporting him, and I've heard that their campaign even complained about Mark Jones and them not helping them enough to get in office. But what they didn't know is they put Todd Harris in the race. I was aware of that, and I had stepped away from politics and only come back to help Todd because they put him in the race. I was enjoying time fishing and stuff like that, and not having to deal with politics. So Scott Elvis, they made their ultimate statement. I believe I heard in see what precinct are you? Siloam, Shoals, Siloam, I think you are. I'm not sure, but Mark Jones met with a guy. I think his last name's Seacreast or something like that. Mark Jones met with him in Mount Airy and gave him a precinct list to get people, as my understanding. Now, I don't have the proof of this, but this is what I've been told, and ultimately you were voted out as of any position in Siloam, but you can thank Mark Jones and the crew for that, and their ongoing two-facedness towards you. And I think that was resentment because you wouldn't give up some kind of website or Facebook or something to them. But anyway, the biggest thing with them is they put somebody else in the race, making you think they were with you. That's just the type people these guys are, and ladies. People can say a lot of things about me, but I'm not two-faced. You might love me, you might like me, you might hate me, but you're going to know where I stand. And hopefully after you know where I stand, we can work together and move on, which is what many of us are doing right now, because they have seen the dictator-style leadership, and they talk about silence, and they scream. And again, I repeat about these three. We often become, some often become what they detest the most. You'll hear these three screaming the most about silencing, the Democrats silencing people who stand against them. That's what this group does. They go out and start slandering you when you stand against them. Scott Elvis, they vote you out of a precinct position. They work to remove you from a precinct position when they stand against you. And you know, and I know, and even if they try to say I'm working with you, you know better than that. I ain't even talked to you. I'm just telling you the type of people they are. And it's not just you, it was me, and it'll be everybody they have working for them if they ever have a problem with anything they're doing. Don't question what they're doing, because they'll silence you just like the Democrats. They will start slandering you. Called the law on me even again, trying to say I threatened them. I'm glad I had it all on tape at the precinct meeting, simply because I objected to them allowing somebody illegal to sit in Mount Airy 5 who lived in Stokes County, and they knew that, lived in Stokes County, and then that person that was at my precinct meeting, Mount Airy 5, which was a legal meeting based on the rules they said, but they allowed somebody illegal living out of the county to sit in my precinct and take the phone-in call from the person that wasn't there, which hadn't been announced to the entire county. And I have shared that with the state, but I'm going to share some information. Again, this is number 6, I believe, and I'm going to share some information, a conversation I had. Some of that was on the phone, but I followed up in text after Mark Jones basically told me that Bill Cowan was a nobody. And you'll see in the conversation when I share it, basically said all Bill Cowan was a Fox News military analyst. Who was he? He was a nobody, just somebody that talked on TV. And Velvet, if you see this, you'll see, if you recall the video on the History Channel about Bill, I shared that with Mark Jones, and I told him basically, I don't know where you're getting your information from, but you need to watch this video, because Bill Cowan is way more than a Fox News military analyst. Probably one of the finest men and finest patriots that's ever walked on the ground in the United States of America. And I'm honored to call him friend and call Velvet friends. I don't like two-faced people. And again, I stepped away till Mark Jones and them put Todd Harris in the race against Scott Elvis, and then ultimately voted Scott Elvis out of precinct position in Siloam, and two-faced them. No matter where you're at, if they're calling you on the phone and telling you they want you to work with them, you better not ever not work with them. You better not ever contest what they're doing. You better not have a different opinion, because they will do you exactly like they're doing me. And I want to point out what they've done most recent. I intentionally, when I shared my first video and shared the video about Mark Jones using the N-word to a black lady judge at our hospitality suite for Salt and Light, which was far from representing Salt and Light, used the N-word to that black lady that was running for judge down east, and I intentionally didn't remove him from my friends list. He was a friend on my Facebook. And so I started sharing the truth about him, giving him an opportunity to stand up for himself. Have backbone that he claims to have to represent you. But I'm telling you, that backbone is like jellyfish. All of them are. They try to use minions or other people they can talk into doing their dirty work for them to make themselves look clean. And so that's what they're doing to you if they're calling you to help right now. They're standing behind the scenes laughing and giggling while they've got you out there bad-mouthing me and bad-mouthing others. Anybody that would stand against them, they're using you. Don't let them do that, because I'm telling you the truth. I ain't got no reason to lie to anybody in this county about it. But anyway, so when I shared that information and said, look, I'll give you the phone number to the lady that he used it to, and she can verify it. So rather than, and I said, come on my Facebook page, called them out. Come on this, comment below that I'm a liar, and I'll share her phone number and everybody can call her. Let me tell you what they done. Mark Jones blocked me because he knows I'm telling the truth, and he ain't got the backbone to stand up on his own. So he gets these Kevin Chenaults the same way. They go around whispering and backbiting, and that's all they've done is divide this county, divide it. We've got to stop that. They've divided conservatives that stood and fought with them with the same ideology because they want power and can't not live without it. They can't stand not being in control. So what I'm asking everybody to do, Pilot Mountain's coming up, Dobson Combine's coming up. There's a couple that haven't been posted yet. I will be sharing those precincts. Go to surry.gop.nc, scroll down to precinct meetings. At those meetings, we'll select delegates, and it's not a long-term thing, about 3 hours of your time, one at the precinct meeting and then at the convention coming up on March the 27th to help us rid our county of this type people who will stab you in the back for their own good. It's a sad testimony for our Republican Party. All of us working together supported Trump. We're not anti-whatever. One other thing I'm going to share quickly. They try to say that I supported a Democrat. I supported a lifelong friend who was a Democrat who told me he was going to change to Republican. And I said, well, you need to change Republican before the election. He said, Joe, I'm not going to do that. And this is the backbone that they don't have. He said, Joe, I'm not going to do that because I don't want anybody to ever say I switched parties just to try to get elected, because that's not who I am. But I will tell you, I'll share his information, his voter registration. He's been Republican ever since, right after that election, because he done what he said he's going to do, which these people, Kevin Chenault and Mark Jones and Gail Norman, don't do. They'll tell you one thing to your face and go around behind your back and do something else. But I'll share his name's Ronnie Bowman. Ronald Gray Bowman's his registration. I'll share that. The sad thing is, I was talking to him this past week, and he said, Joe, it's the same way in the Republican Party. They're no different. I'm switching to independent. So I'm trying to talk him out of switching to independent and stay in the fight with us as Republicans to fight for the conservative platform. Not for personal gain and agendas like these three at the top of our party have, but for the Republican Party platform that we all stand for and the salt and light that we claim to represent here in Surry County. We even host our convention at a church. And I could share some things. Jacob Flippin, I defended Jacob Flippin at one of our meetings. Mark Jones blew up on Jacob Flippin, the associate pastor, youth pastor at Temple Baptist. And I contacted Jacob Flippin, just let him know what had happened because the door was accidentally locked. Jacob made sure it was unlocked, and somebody didn't know that, and it was accidentally locked. And so Mark Jones blew up on me when I said, man, just let it go. You're not going to stand here and talk about Jacob. He's my friend. I'm not going to allow that. And so Mark Jones blew up on me then and said I was starting trouble and told me I need to leave. And I said, Mark, you can't tell me to leave. And so they don't want you to stand up to them. They don't have the backbone to do it on their own. That's why they blocked me. I also been blocked from the Surry County Republican page I mentioned to you when I called them out on their hypocrisy on there about how they were fussing about, how Mark Jones was fussing about Mark Zuckerberg deleting his video of those people in Georgia going out from Surry County and working in Georgia, and that Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook had deleted his video. And I called him out for his hypocrisy because he's doing the same thing on that page. You don't post nothing on that page that he doesn't approve, and if he doesn't approve of it, it didn't get posted. You would get a response. Your message is being approved or is being reviewed by the administrator, who was Mark Jones, who made himself the administrator, by the way. And so I called him out on that hypocrisy, just like I did on the using the N-word, and he blocked me on the personal page. And then when I called him out on the hypocrisy on the Republican page, they blocked me there. So that's not leadership. That's having no backbone but claiming to have backbone. When you can't stand the heat, you run because you know it's all facts. Always the truth, backed by the proof. You won't hear me sharing anything that's speculation, hearsay, whatever. I don't share it. I've had people even now say, Joe, could you say this and say this in your videos? I said, I don't have the proof of that. I'm not going to share accusations. I won't do that. So anything I'm telling you, I've got proof to back it up. And one reason I'm slow at sharing it, I want them to get out and start denying it and saying it's not true, because when I share the proof, then y'all know they're nothing but a bunch of liars and backbiters. We've got to stand against this, Surry County. Pilot Mountain's coming up Thursday. Dobson combined on Monday, I believe. There are a couple others. I'll share those after this as well. God bless Surry County. Stop the steal. Hashtag Stop the Steal will lead you to all videos and posts regarding this information all at once, and you can scroll down and look at it. Stop the Surry County steal. They're doing no different now than they did in Washington, D.C. with Joe Biden, and we've got to stop it here in Surry County. It's Republican against Republican, and I'll say extremist against Republicans, because these people don't represent who we are. God bless Surry County. I'll have another video soon with more information.